According to the Michigan State Police, there were 315,000 crashes in 2017. Wayne County accounted for 55,000 of those. Of those 55,000, 87 were in the Northville parking lot alone. NHS students joke that a crash happens at the high school almost every week. Is it due to the lack of experienced drivers? Or is it the access of soccer moms? We're set off to find out.
Through our research and interviews, we found that the parking lot is actually quite safe. We have limited traffic through the entrance and exits, stop signs, and we have security officers directing traffic. We asked how to make the lot safer. There wasn't much more they could do. Security Officer Michael Lindman says,
A lot real safe right now. You know how I do it? You guys would all hate me. Say students can't drive. Wow, would that lot become safe?
there's about one crash every 2 days in our lot. The majority of accidents are property damage, such as scratches and dents. We asked Police Liaison Caroline Salata to expand on this.
So I have some statistics for you, and from September 1st, 2017 to June 30th, 2018, so the entire last school year, I have it broken down in two time frames. So from 7 to 8 a.m., there were 6 injury accidents and 44 property damage accidents, so that's no injury. And then from 2 to 3, there were 9 injury accidents and 28 accidents.
So slightly more after school?
Slightly more after school, yeah. And I'm sure that's attributed to
The rush?
the rush and people trying to get where they need to be, after school activities, all the things you guys have going on in the afternoon.
Luckily, with constant surveillance, a crack team of security personnel, and the assistance of the police department, most accidents are resolved within a day or two. Security Officer Lindman recalls,
And the last year I had a vehicle that hit somebody and then went to another spot, and it was literally found the piece from the vehicle and was able to match it up and then just turn it over to the administration.
what have we done about these problems? Originally, there used to be no traffic light at the main entrance of the parking lot. So what changed? We interviewed longtime Northville teacher Christopher Ford to find out.
So when you're thinking of a problem in front of Northville High School, for really about 15, 20 minutes, 180 days a year in the morning, and for the same number of days for about 20, 25 minutes, maybe at the end of the school day, 180 days a year. When you think of all of the issues that the Wayne County Road Commission has to deal with, the freeways, the airport, border entry and crossing, at the bridge and the tunnel, downtown Detroit, cities that are much larger in Northville, trying to fund a couple $300,000 project to put in traffic lights for something that's only an issue 180 days for literally, even if you include morning and evening, about 40 minutes a day, is not really an effective use of taxpayer resources. Plus, in order to be able to get a traffic light at an intersection or at an exit or entry point, there has to be, and there are certain guidelines, and these are done by the National Traffic Safety Administration, there has to be a certain amount of traffic. And 6 Mile just never met the traffic threshold to warrant putting a light in front of Northville High School. So people complained for a few years. Obviously, there's more subdivisions that were built in the area. Our school increased in size. So occasionally, every other year or so, they put out the little boxes with the tubes that stretch across the road that register a vehicle every time you cross the little tubing. So at some point, it reached the threshold on 6 Mile that enabled them to be able to put it on the list to then put a traffic at the intersection because there was enough traffic to warrant putting a light in there. So that's what really did it, not a crash. And that's how Wayne County determines whether to put in a light in an area or not.
Another change took place during this time, as Officer Lindman explains.
As far as the big change that I know of that was made was a few years ago, they didn't lock the back gate, and you'd have students especially trying to rush around behind the building. It was kind of like the Indy 500 going around there, and you'd have them try to beat the buses and then the traffic from the west lot. So what they did is they closed that off. You still have the same number of vehicles still exiting through the three exits. So you didn't change any of that dynamic. What you did is you stopped people from racing around the back, trying to beat other people, other buses, other students. So yeah, I do think that made it safer. And it did not slow the amount of traffic. Same number of people still get out on the 6 mile now as we're getting out before. So it didn't change that. It didn't keep people in the lot.
Danger students face during their drive to school are the left turn lanes on both Sheldon and Beck. During the rush, these turn lanes are often immensely backed up. Wayne County has heard the cries of Northville residents and have approved a solution. We asked Officer Salata to expand on this.
So 6 and Beck has been approved, so all of our roads are Wayne County roads. Unfortunately, as a township, we can have input, but we have no binding.
Yeah.
We can't do anything. We can certainly enforce, and we can be loud in our opinions, but Wayne County is instrumental in doing any and all changes as far as those are concerned. So last month at the PTA meeting, I reported out that 6 and Beck has been approved by the county to get a left turn light. There's no timeline given for that, and as you get older, you'll know and realize that Wayne County is slow to do everything.
Yeah.
With Detroit being in our same county, we're literally as far as you can be away from Detroit and still be considered in the group with Detroit. So just because it's been approved doesn't mean it's going to happen quickly, but certainly having it be approved is the first step. They're going to be widening the lanes as far as the left turn lanes, because as you know, you might not remember, Beck used to only be one lane.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so it was a while ago, maybe 2 or 3 years, I kind of forget, it all runs together, but so they'll be widening and lengthening the left turn lanes. That's the first step, and then actually implementing the light.
The Northville Police have also begun to help out.
Talked about something called the directed patrol. So if there's a problem with anything, it could be traffic, it could be soliciting, whatever concerns are around the township, we dedicate officers to that area. So you probably noticed there's an officer fairly regularly that sits at 6 in Sheldon or 6 in Beck with their lights on, not the red and blue flashing that make you pull over, just kind of a, hey, the police are here.
Yeah.
They're called cruise lights. They're kind of fancy. I think they're cool. They're fairly new, and so that allows and alerts everyone to our presence in the area. And since we've deployed those resources to those intersections, our traffic crashes have reduced dramatically.
That's good.
So that shows that people are doing the right thing when they see the police are around. It's just doing the right thing when we aren't around, because obviously we can't be everywhere all the time. In addition to that, we have some signs that we're able to deploy. They're digital, and they say like high traffic crash area, or I think and they kind of were able to put them wherever. So those also alert people to high crash volume, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And so that has been helping as well. So I think we're doing what we can do.
Yeah.
If you guys just take a little extra time and follow the traffic rules and the traffic laws, then everybody will definitely drive safer.
So, what can a person like you or me do to increase the safety of your drive to school? As you've seen with the left turn lane on Beck and 6 Mile, the most impactful thing you can do is to contact both your local and state representatives. Your representatives need to hear their people's voices in order to approve legislation that you want. If you want to take an active role in your community's safety, you can educate the members of your community on parking lot and driving etiquette. However, by far, the easiest and most important way to make your drive safer is to be constantly alert and follow traffic laws when driving to and from school.